Hey guys, welcome to today's video and welcome on into my beauty stash. Today I have 14 of the latest concealers that have dropped over the last few months to rank for you guys today. I just uploaded a foundation ranking video, so I'll have that linked up above in case you want to check out some of the latest and greatest, or maybe not so great foundations that have dropped recently. But it is time for concealers, and I went back and I checked to see when was the last time I did a concealer ranking video, and it was like towards the end of last year. It could have been like October, November of 2022. So it's definitely time. I've definitely built up a bit of a stash and I just want to revisit them, rank them for you guys, and help you all make some great buying decisions. If you want to see all of these 14 concealers ranked, keep on watching. And before we get started with today's video, I just want to say hello and welcome to all of you, especially my new viewers. Welcome. So happy to have all of you here. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, let me go ahead and invite you to become part of our makeup family. Do me a favor, click on that subscribe button, hit the bell next to it. That way you can be notified every time I drop a new video. And if you're a fan of ranking videos, or you just want to see what some of these new concealers are all about, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you go. As usual, I will have everything linked and listed in the description box that I'm going to be talking about today. The makeup look I did film, and I'm not going to have that makeup linked just yet. Still working on those details, but let me just tell you, I'm wearing a full face of makeup that is less than $8. You're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. Let's get started with a ranking. We're going to go from worst to best, and the unlucky number 14 is going to be the latest concealer from Valentino. That's right. This concealer is going to retail for, it's $35 or $40. It's around one of those. It's a luxury brand. It's a luxury concealer. This concealer, I have it in the shade LN2. LN2. I typically go more for fair concealers with like a neutral to warm undertone if that helps you make a good buying decision. But that's what LN2 looks like. It's a nice shade. It just doesn't provide much coverage. And whatever coverage it does provide kind of just fades away by the end of the day. I was really disappointed with this. This was my very first Valentino beauty purchase. Did not make a good first impression, but a lot of you have said that the foundation is really good, so I'm gonna put that on my list to try eventually. Coming in at unlucky number 13 is the latest from Milk Makeup, and this is their Future Fluid All Over Cream Concealer. The shade I have in this one is 5W. You know, this concealer, it's hit or miss for me. I'm not going to say it's absolutely awful. Like, I'm not going to put it on the same level as the Valentino concealer, but it works sometimes and then it doesn't work other times. But what I mean by working is under the eye area in particular. That is where I judge my concealers the hardest, how they look under the eyes, because let's face it, we all have fine lines under our eyes. There's really nothing that you can do to get rid of fine lines, to prevent them. It is the part of aging that we just cannot help. We can treat our crow's feet with a little bit of Botox, but like directly under the eye area, it's very, very hard to treat that. So we want to count on our skincare and our makeup to try and blur and smooth as much of that under eye area as we can. And so, of course, concealer comes into play, a good setting powder comes into play, and just good skincare overall. This concealer will work with some foundations, it will work with some setting powders, but it will not work with all of them. Sometimes my eyes will look very blurred, very nice by the end of the day, and other times it looks like I've aged 10 years. So it's just a little too hit or miss for me, and that's why it's finding itself in the unlucky number 13 spot. Coming in at number 12 is the newest concealer from IT Cosmetics. This breaks my heart that I have to put an IT Cosmetics products this low on the list. I usually like a lot of IT Cosmetics products. I've been using their CC cream for so many years. A lot of my family members and friends, they love IT Cosmetics as well. And there's a lot of things that I do love from the brand, but this concealer, the Bye Bye Dark Spots Concealer, which comes with a little brush that I cannot stand. I don't like when products come with a little applicator. I would just rather use my finger kind of just to warm up the product and really help it to blend into the skin a bit better. But this is their Bye Bye Dark Spots Corrector Serum. It has 2% niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and caffeine. Caffeine is a great ingredient to include in your concealer because it's going to kind of help to just depuff the under eye area, but this lacks in coverage. This is going to get you medium coverage at best, and for something that's meant to conceal darkness, I don't find that it does that at all. It looks good, like it wears well throughout the day, but it doesn't give me the coverage I need. And if for something that's advertising being a dark spot concealer, this doesn't do a great job of covering the darkness under the eyes, let alone other areas of the face where you might have darker pigmentation. Coming in at number 11 is this one from Essence. This is the most affordable concealer in the lineup. I want to say this retails for about $5, maybe $6. The shade I have in this one is shade, I want to say it's Alabaster. You know, it doesn't even say it on the packaging, but I remember Alabaster. You get a little doe foot applicator. The shade is nice. I actually picked this up in 2 different shades, but this is a shade I brought out. You know, it's another concealer that it works when it wants to, and then it works when it doesn't. So depending on what I pair with it, sometimes it'll mesh well with those products and sometimes it won't. I think you're going to get a good medium coverage out of this one, bordering on full coverage. It's just hit or miss for me. It's hit or miss for me, just like the foundation that accompanies this concealer. They're both hit or miss. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. They're not totally reliable. Like, I wouldn't travel with them if I was going away for like a week-long trip. But, you know, for here and there, spot concealing, I think it does a job. And if you're in need of something really affordable, that might be something you want to check out. But be expecting it to work only sometimes. Coming in at number 10, we have Makeup Revolution. This is another affordable concealer. I think this retails for between $8 and $10. I got this in 2 different shades. The shade I have here is shade C2. This is the lighter shade. I have C5 as well. I didn't like this as an under eye concealer. I didn't really feel, you know, it did much. I felt like it kind of accentuated the fine lines that I have under my eye area. This one is going to be a medium to full coverage concealer. I do like this one though for spot concealing, and I always spot conceal right here on the sides of my cheeks where I have old acne scars and minor discoloration, and this IRL filter finish concealer does a much better job of spot concealing than it does actually under the eye area. It's just, I feel like it accentuates texture just a little too much, but if you're looking to spot conceal certain areas of the face, or maybe you don't have any wrinkles or texture of whatever sort, then this one might be a good fit for you, and it's super affordable. Coming in at number 9, we have the latest one from Physicians Formula, and this is their Butter Glow Concealer. This one is going to be more along the lines of like a medium coverage. You might be able to get this one to full coverage, but I think it's definitely going to be more on the medium side of coverage. This one is nice. I will say this one has worn really well. It's played nicely with the majority of products that I do pair with it. By the end of the day, it is showing its signs of wear, and what I mean by end of the day is like 10 hours. It's typically what I do my wear tests when I do concealer and foundation wear tests. I always make sure they get me like a good 10 hours, which is like a typical work day, you know, from start to finish, from when you're putting on your makeup to when you get home from work. I would say it's a good 10 hours. The shade I have in this one is shade Fair to Light. You know, the shade range in this is very dismal. There's like 4 or 5 different shades. I probably should have put it lower just because of the shade range, but I did get, this is the lightest shade that they have. It's a good shade match on me. Again, this is one that comes with a sponge, not a brush. It's a sponge applicator, which I used it once just to try it out, but I will never use it again. I would rather you guys not use it either and just use your finger in case you don't have your brush handy or your traditional makeup sponge handy, just use your finger because that will really help to blend out the concealer and help it absorb well into the skin. You know, this was nice. There's a lot of things that I do enjoy from Physicians Formula. This concealer is just, it's just okay. It's kind of like, you know, right in the middle. Coming in at number 8 is a new to me concealer. I don't think this is new. I think this has been out for a while, but it's new to me, and actually the brand is new to me because I think this is the only thing I have from Nude Sticks in my stash. This is the mini size of their concealer, which, what is this called? The Nude Fix. No, Nude Sticks, sorry, Nude Sticks Cream Concealer. The shade I have in this one is shade N3. I wanted to go with the mini size just because I was trying it out. It is a little darker for me right now, but I like this also for spot concealing, and this has done a good job under the eye area. It has gotten me a good workday's wear, and I like it, and I always like when I'm able to buy mini makeup sizes just because I try so much new makeup on my channel that a lot of the makeup unfortunately ends up going bad, and if I can get something in a mini size, sign me up. I am there. I will buy the mini size. But you can see this is a little bit on the darker side, but I do like it. I do think it is a nice concealer that you're definitely going to get more medium to full coverage out of. Coming in at number 8 is a concealer I know a few of you have picked up during this year's Sephora Spring VIB sale, and I'm talking about the latest from Givenchy. This is their Prisme Libre Skin Caring Concealer. The shade I have in this one is shade W100. This is not my most favorite Givenchy product. There's what the shade looks like, but it's a decent concealer. I wouldn't say it's the best. For being a luxury concealer, I expected a little bit more. You're gonna get medium to maybe bordering on full coverage out of this one, but depending on what you pair with it, this will show its signs of wear, especially around that 10-hour mark. I would definitely pair this with a very finely milled powder. I have been loving the one I picked up recently from Moira. It is their like tricolor powder, and I have the shade 05 Rose in that one. I think that's been a beautiful powder. I've really been enjoying the new Sugar Drizzle translucent loose setting powder, as well as the banana powder. That is a super fine formula as well. Some of you have mentioned that you did pick this up, and even though you saw my initial review, you picked it up anyway, knowing I wasn't 100% on board with it, and now unfortunately you all tried it and you weren't 100% on board with it either. I hope those of you that did get it are able to return it because it's not a cheap concealer. I think this is like a $40 or $42 concealer. It's a luxury brand, obviously. I was just expecting a little bit more, a little bit better than what I got. I do love the Givenchy Prisme Matte Foundation. That is a really beautiful foundation, especially for those of you with normal to oily and full-on oily skin. The Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring Glow Foundation would be a nicer option if you're not looking for something full coverage, if you want something more light to medium coverage and you have on the drier side of skin types. But this concealer, there's better, and I'm going to show you better in a little bit. I would just pass on it. Maybe the correctors are better. They did come out with some correctors in this formula. I didn't pick any of those up, but you know what I did pick up? Finally, I did pick up the Givenchy powder that has like the 4 different shades in it. So that was one of the things I did haul during the Sephora sale, which of course I will do a video once I get everything in. I didn't pay for rush shipping or anything like that, but once I get my whole order in, I will be doing a video and we'll try everything I got in that haul. Coming in at number 6 is the new concealer, the latest concealer from Vive Beauty. This is the Modern Radiance Concealer. This is going to give you more of like a medium to full coverage. The shade I picked up in this one is shade Light 3. This was my very first purchase from Vive. Vive is a UK-based indie makeup brand, and I like this concealer. I think this concealer wears wears beautifully under the eye area. It's a great spot concealer. I also picked up the powder, and I had kept the powder as like my touch-up powder during the day, so it stayed in my work bag and it stayed in my purse. But unfortunately the powder broke. I was so disappointed because the compact that it came in was beautiful. It was a beautiful gold packaging, but everything broke, so unfortunately I did had to throw it away. But I have enjoyed this concealer. I think the shade is a good shade for me. I think it'll be a better shade once I get a little bit of a tan going on, but this is a nice product to check out from Vive. Coming in at number 5 is this one from Pacifica, and I know some of you have mentioned that you've picked this up and you've really been enjoying it. Pacifica makes a lot of products, and you can find Pacifica at Ulta. You can also find them at Target. I got this one from the Ulta Beauty online website. This is the Dreamlit Glow Concealer and Corrector. The shade I have in this one is shade 2. Is it shade 2? Yes, no, shade 11. Sorry, shade 11. This is what it looks like. I think this is a pretty concealer, and I think it wears really well under the eye area. I think this is going to be one of those concealers. For me, I have to powder it down. I tend to powder down all of my concealers. That's just what works best for me. But I think for some of you who don't like to wear under eye or powder under your eye area, I think you might enjoy this one. Just a light layer of it. You are going to get a full coverage out of this one. It's a great spot concealer as well, but again, going back to what do I look for in a concealer? First and foremost, I look that it makes my under eye area look smooth and blurred, and it just kind of helps to diminish the fine lines instead of accentuating them. And this Pacifica Concealer Dream Lit Glow Concealer has done a fantastic job in my stash. Coming in at number 4 is a concealer that I've seen making the rounds over on Instagram lately, and it is the latest from Urban Decay, and this is the Urban Decay Naked Quickie Concealer. This is actually a product that you could very well use as foundation. It's meant to be worn all over the face. It does come with a brush. I don't like this brush at all, so I don't use it, but it comes with a very large doe foot applicator. The shade I have in this one is shade 30NN. I do like this shade on me. I think it's a pretty good shade just for under eye concealing and also for spot concealing. What I've been doing lately is I've been going more for concealers that are my skin tone. That way I can use them not just under the eye area, but to spot conceal as well. If you go for a lighter concealer and when you try to spot conceal with that, you're going to end up accentuating what you want to conceal. So just remember that when choosing a concealer. If you only want it for the under eye area, then go a shade lighter so that it kind of brightens that area. But if you're going to use this concealer to spot conceal all over your face, you're definitely going to want to get one that's as close to your skin tone as possible. I like this shade 30NN. I like this concealer. I think it wears for a really long time, and I like that it's like a multi-purpose product. I like that you can wear it as a concealer, as a foundation, and you can even go up a few shades and get one that will act as a bronzer. I think Urban Decay has a nice concealer on their hands, and I'm happy that I have this one in my stash. Coming in at number 3 is one of the newest concealers in my stash, and that is from Moira, and this is one of their newest concealers as well. This is the CC Prep Concealer. This is going to be one of those like light pink concealers. I know we talked about this in one of my more recent videos about putting blush under the eye area, but if you don't want to partake in that trend, like actually putting liquid blush under the eye area, if you don't want to partake in that trend, pick yourself up a really pale pink concealer like this one. This one from Moira I have in the shade 100 Fair. It does come in many other different shades, and this is super affordable, like $8, $10. Everything on the Moira website is really affordable. I don't think anything is over 25 bucks. I recently did a Moira haul. I'll have that Moira haul linked up above in case you want to check out that video, because there were there were a lot of winners in that video. But this concealer I have really been enjoying, along with that setting powder that I mentioned earlier in this video. These two products have worked beautifully hand in hand. I love the little brightness that it provides to the under eye area. What you could do with this as well is go in with your traditional concealer first and then just do this on top to add more brightness to the under eye area. It's versatile. You can wear it in several different ways, but if you really want to brighten, do your normal concealer and then do this like right here in the inner corner and maybe a little bit right out here. It's going to give you that wide awake effect and it's not going to accentuate any texture. Moira does a lot of great things and I'm discovering so many amazing things from the brand. I highly recommend you go to the Moira website. You can be on that website for a long time because they have a lot of stuff, but they have a lot of great stuff. Okay guys, we got 2 concealers left. Coming in at number 2, and this concealer could easily have been in the number 1 spot, and it comes to us from the drugstore, and it is the latest one from Flower Beauty. I have loved this concealer. I have it in 2 different shades. The shade that I pulled out to show you guys is shade Fair. This is their Get Real Serum Concealer. This is going to be a full coverage concealer that is super lightweight, easy to blend, wears well with or without powder. It's a good concealer for the under eye area, for spot concealing. It just looks flawless all day long. I have really been loving this concealer. Has the Flower Beauty website opened? I know we've been talking about this. I know I've asked this several times in my video. Last time I checked, it wasn't open. They were, I don't know if they're reformulating, rebranding. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing, but I know they're probably getting ready to release a lot of amazing products. This was released over on the Ulta website. That is where I picked it up, and I love it. I love this concealer so much. I want to say this retails for like $14 or $15, but of course you can use your Ulta coupon to get a little bit of a discount. Definitely check out this new one from Flower Beauty. It is super lightweight, but still gives you that good full coverage. And coming in at number 1, this should not be a shock to any of you that have been watching me for a while. The reformulated Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I have the shade 1N in this one. This is now in a glass bottle. Very fancy, very luxe. All of the other ones, even the Givenchy is plastic. All of the other ones have been in plastic containers. This is the only one that comes in a glass container. This concealer is just tried and true in my stash, and I compared it to the original formula. I did a side-by-side wear test, and the new one is just as good as the old one. The new concealer is formulated with more naturally derived ingredients. It has a bit more skincare in it, but I didn't really notice a difference in wear time, you know, longevity, performance. I thought like it was just great across the board, and I really love it. This Dior concealer just keeps performing time and time again. It looks great under the eye area. No matter what powder I place with it, no matter what foundation I use with it, it just works. It just works. I know it's on the pricey side. I know it's a luxury concealer, but you know, sometimes it's okay for us to splurge. Sometimes we need to splurge, especially when it comes to complexion products. I think complexion products are, if you're gonna splurge, that's the thing to splurge on. Foundation, concealer, maybe even powder. I know for me, foundation, concealer are things I don't mind splurging on. When it comes to maybe mascara, eyebrow stuff, yeah, the drugstore has you covered. But when it comes to a really good concealer, when you really need that good coverage, it's gonna last all day, don't hesitate, if you can afford it, to spend on a luxury concealer, especially this one like Dior, because this is a beautiful product, and this one is going to work for all skin types and people of all ages. Alright guys, so that wraps up my concealer ranking video. These are 14 of some of the latest concealers to hit the beauty world. Let me know what some of your favorite concealers are. What have you been loving on? What concealers did I mention in this video that you're like, no Steph, I can't wear that. I hated it. It doesn't work for me. Sound off in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night, wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink your water. Cheers. I'm going to see y'all very soon. Bye.